We're going to kind of come through, we're going to look at everything. I want to make sure that the vapor barrier is installed, correctly, that I don't have any holes, I don't have any penetrations in the vapor barrier. I want to make sure that once this drywall goes on, that everything gets clamped properly so that I don't get any air penetration either going out, which I'm losing hot air in the winter time, which makes the house very inefficient, or I'm going to be having cold air coming into the house. Now, these duct chases, they always seem to be a problem area. We got a piece of pipe that's running through here, and obviously this piece of pipe needs to be here because we want to get heat to different places of the home. And that the biggest problem though is, and again, we do have actually a really good example of what happens here, is a lot of times, when the duct guys are coming in, they're cutting the holes, they're trying to get, their pipe and everything else in place, is they end up damaging the vapor barrier. The vapor barrier and the air barrier, which are supposed to tie together at this point in time, they've both been compromised. We do have a hole here, and this is obviously something that we don't want to see. It's a quick, easy fix. It just needs to be sealed. And we want to make sure that, the bottom here, we want to make sure that that gets clamped. And that's usually just a piece of drywall or a piece of wood that goes in there, along with some acoustic caulking, and that seals the bottom of this. You may recall on the outside where I actually was pointing out that house wrap that goes underneath the sill plate and comes in and wraps up. That's that house wrap that was actually on the outside. This comes down, and this actually creates a continuous seal all the way around the entire house, so that way we have an airtight seal with insulation wrapped inside the walls, and it's just like a nice warm blanket that's wrapped around your house, which is really, keeps you comfortable, keeps the house comfortable, and everybody else. Going to do a walkthrough here. We want to make sure that we got all our proper overlaps happening here. I like to see, we got the nice acoustic caulking that is happening all the way around the window frame. Again, once that drywall clamps onto there, we got a nice gasket seal. We want to make sure that everything is sealed properly, installed properly. One of the key things we want to check for is, the electrical boxes. They can always tend to be problematic if they're not sealed properly. We want to make sure that they're wrapped around with a piece of poly, and that piece of poly is 100% sealed all the way around. And then once that drywall goes on there, we're going to have minimal air leakage in that area. One of the hard things to really fix are some of these wire penetrations in that. He's done a good job here at trying to keep this sealed. Sometimes it doesn't even hurt to put a little bit more tape in around that wire itself, just to try and keep that seal there all the time, because you do get small little bits of air leakage in these areas. It's just a matter of going that one little extra step, and you can, instead of 98%, you're going to get it 99%. We've got our acoustic caulking here again. The pipe penetrations here, they can always be somewhat problematic. I'm liking what I see here, where he's actually taped onto the pipe itself to help create that full seal, so that when the drywall guy comes around, he cuts his hole for his drywall, puts the drywall on there. That's actually going to go around there, and it's actually going to seal it. And that's what this whole stage of the building process is all about, is minimizing that air leakage as much as possible. It doesn't take a lot more work to do it right, but sometimes, it might take an extra minute, it might take an extra 2 minutes. That's the difference between day and night, is those attention to small details. That's why you guys are into the Holmes Approved Homes program, is the quality that you've already brought to the table, that attention to detail. Now this is interesting here. What's happening here, because we have a duct run going right up this wall, and we have the garage behind us here. So we have an unconditioned space in behind there, which means cold air, and we obviously can't put insulation in this cavity because we got steel pipe running up and through there. The cure for that is, we come in here, we go as far as we can to the pipe, and then if you look in behind here, what we've done is we've done a bump out wall. So the insulation is actually going back there, and our vapor barrier is actually going in behind this wall, coming through and getting tied in that way. And that way we still have our continuous seal going through. I like to see that. That's really good. It's these small little problematic areas that are just part of the building process of every single home, but it's being aware of them and doing something to fix it. And at the end of the day, it makes it that much of a better house, and it puts your house above all the other houses that, the guys that aren't doing this.
And if ever the home builders, for example, want to renovate the home or change anything, they won't ever, for example, tear down a wall and notice a bunch of mistakes or problems.
It's amazing, how often that happens, where people will come in, they'll do a renovation, 15 years later, and they uncover things and they look at stuff, and it's like, why didn't this house ever fall down? Because things get covered up. You can't be everywhere at the same time. The site supervisor can't be everywhere at the same time. You guys do a great job at the quality control. You look and you try to find things, but let's face it, 2 sets of eyes are better than 1. 3 sets of eyes are even better, right? And that's what we're here to do, is try and find these problems and just help you guys build a better home. I'm happy with what I'm seeing here. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you so much, Mark. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We'll be seeing each other more in the future.